All right, let's get off of the negatives and move into the positives. We got a lot of new players who have joined up with their new clubs, and they're going to get a chance to either make their debut or start training with their sides during this Leagues Cup month. So we've already mentioned a few, the likes of Giroud to LAFC and Hartel and Touchart to St. Louis, but a ton of others will be joining up with their sides, and we'll list as many as it makes sense for. We'll try and go through them quickly, and we'll start in Austin with their three signings for almost 10 million combined. You've got Bukhari, you've got Dessler, and you've got Svatok, a attacking wide player, a right back, and now a center back coming in to reinforce this team to make a push to the playoffs. We'll start with Bukhari, a big name, $7 million strong attacking winger from Ghana. Tons of experience in European competitions, Serbia, Belgium, France, Champions League. I mean, and Europa League. He's got a resume that's the size of my resume, not soccer, of course, just other cool things. But what are your thoughts on this move?
I think it's great. I think it's great that they're willing to splash the money to bring in a big time player and make that push for the playoff time. Like obviously at this point, it's pretty easy to say that they're out of the supporter shield race. I hate to break it to Austin fans if you haven't picked up on that already, but you're still 100% in the competition for MLS Cup. I mean, you are 2 points out of the play-in game right now, and what a better way to help bolster your chances to make it into the playoffs, even just outright, forget the playing game, than to bring in a big time player like Bukhari. I do think the fee feels pretty heavy for at least what it looks like he's done so far. I don't know if FBRF is maybe missing some statistics, but I think he had 15 goal contributions in the Serbian league, and then he had 13 last year in the Serbian league. He played tons of minutes for a title winning Red Star team in back to back years while he was there. And then he's come over here to MLS. I feel like, what was it, 11 or was it 7 million they paid for him or 11?
Seven, seven.
Okay. I mean, 7 million still feels a little steep, but why does it matter? I mean, billionaire owners just spend the money to bring in the players. Who cares how much it is? Like 7 million, honestly, in this market is really like pocket change.
Well, and that's what I was about to say. Like 7 mil for a guy who's got this tons of experience, had a good return in this league that is probably comparable to what we're doing. 7 mil when you got players who have $1 billion release clauses. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I guess from an MLS perspective, it's still like big money.
sure,
But
sure,
just
but we
in,
need to
in,
get
in the
we need to get
world
to that level.
perspective, yeah, it's like
Yeah,
Man City probably blows their nose with 7 million.
as a yeah, their Man City dropped that on the sidewalk, and oh
That's how
man,
much they're paying their attorneys to fight the charges right
yeah,
now.
yeah, that's how much a day they spend to make sure that they can't get hit with charges right now. They're gonna wait till they
Yeah.
they retire everybody before. No, I agree. I think it's a good move. You've got Austin, who have scored the least number of goals in the Western Conference, and they need a game changer. And I think he could be that for them, right? He's got a good profile of a player that can be a game changer. I don't want to say like exactly like a Denny Bouanga, for example, but similar vibes to me. You got Troisi pulling the strings, which will be getting him into good spaces. And then, of course, legend and future 2026 men's national team striker Gyasi Zardes getting into some form down the stretch. I think he's got 4 or 5 in the last 5. So yeah, can't be complaining with that. They've also added defensive help in the form of Mikael Dessler, a Danish right back out of France in Ligue 1. He also has Europa League experience as well as some time in Norway and Denmark. Um, he's an attacking minded fullback. He's got 6 assists in 2022 in League Two. They've traded Nick Lima and they were just left with basically Hector Jimenez and John Gallagher playing super deep. I don't think that is a terrible choice to play Gallagher that deep, but they did want him up higher in the pitch, and now they can do that because they've got a quality right back filling the role. Any reservations on Dessler?
Nope. I think that was honestly, I almost want to say that it's my favorite transfer out of the three, because they did outside of Hector Jimenez, who at least according to transfer market was the only like outright proper right back on this team. They had nobody else. I know
Mm-hmm.
they've been playing Gallagher there, and I think Gallagher is a decent fullback, but I mean at the end of the day he's a very attacking minded fullback. He was one of those wingers converted to fullbacks. He'd be great in a five back system in my opinion, but it's good that they finally could get like a proper right back in there. And Dessler has a bunch of experience. Like I know you were talking about Bukhari having experience. This guy has like way more experience than even Bukhari. Tons of minutes in the Danish league with a relatively maybe mid-table team. I don't know how many teams are in the Danish league. Has some experience in Norway, and then most recently was playing in with Toulouse in League Two for 1 year, and then the last 2 seasons being a consistent starter in League One for a relatively like mid-table team. But I think that's a really good addition to add in. If you could add in a guy who is starting consistently for mid-table, top five league team, I think that's great. So I think that was great business for them in a position of much need.
Yeah, and I'm looking here, and they are 2 points out, right? They are 2 points out of the playoffs and can make a deepish run to go. I don't think they're completely out of like even the home games right now because everything's so tight still with 9 games to go. Now it's a stretch for sure, no doubt. They are 31 and the home games are 41. I mean, they're 10 points out of home playoff games, right? They are 5 points, 6 points out of avoiding the play in. Like what I like to see is there's this commitment to saying we're not going to settle for just sneaking in. They're really shoring up their team and really pushing for those results, which is really really nice to see. The final reinforcement, a center back in the form of Svatok, a 29-year-old Ukrainian from the Ukrainian league. He has some other Croatian experience as well, a little bit in the Euro League qualifying rounds, but he does have over 200 games at center back, coming over from a team that no longer exists. It actually folded last week. He hasn't played yet, but he does join a center back room of Cascante, Hedges, Heinz, Ike, and Väisänen, trying to solidify them going into this last playoff push. And I think he can play a good role in that sense as an experienced leader to say, hey, we're gonna stick it out, and as these guys push and get better going forward, we're going to be solidified in the back, and we are going to shore it up. I mean, they've conceded 37 goals. It's not nearly as it's right in the thick of things in that sense, where everybody else is kind of conceded there or around there, and then there's Kansas City and San Jose, but they needed just that one extra guy to be like, all right, sort it out, boys. We're gonna tighten it up, and we're gonna be good to go. And I'm excited to see that because now they've improved in the attack, they've improved in their wide areas, and they've improved it at the spine of the team. So really excited to see what this new look team can do in the last 9 games or so.
But I feel like defensively, I mean, I just talked about their goal scoring was the issue, and I think defensively they've been definitely good enough to make a playoff push. And obviously they were missing Väisänen for a long time at the start of the season with injury, and he's just kind of he's not recently been back. He's been back since May, but obviously they missed almost 2 months where he was out. So to get him back, I think is massive, and then to add another center back to the mix, I think will be super helpful as well. I know Brendan Heinz Ike has been involved a lot with the team as well as Cascante. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it'll be interesting to see. I think they have the personnel now if they wanted to do a five in the back, whereas I think before they might have been a little bit thin, especially with Väisänen out for a bit of time. But if they did want to do that, I think they have the personnel now to be flexible and change things if they need to. So I think it's good to give them that some options in case things aren't working out with what they're currently running with.
Yeah, no, I'm excited that Austin again to put another stamp against this whole there's no pressure without pro rel. Like this is a team that's 2 points out and just dropped $9 million, $8.2 million to go and secure themselves to get in the playoff spot. Like that's what I like to see. That is definitely what you like to see. A team that's right in the middle of it and looking to get into the home games is Houston, who just brought in Lawrence Anali, a $2.75 million signing out of Germany, German-born left wing player. He is transferring over from Poland as a U22 signing. He is young, but he had 5 goals, 2 assists in about 1,600 minutes in Poland over 26 appearances. He had a good bit of contribution in the third Bundesliga as well before moving over. Your thoughts on the move?
I'm sure I'll be proven wrong as the many times as I have been with Ben Olsen, but this feels like a very high fee for his resume so far. And I get that they probably need some help on the left wing because at least for transfer market's sake. Quinones was the only one listed there, and he's out injured. So if they do want to run with wingers, I'm sure if they, I'll be honest, I don't follow much of Houston. I don't know who they're playing on the wings, but they only have three people listed as wingers. One of them injured right now, if you're including Anali. So it makes sense to bring him in. I feel like it's a steep fee for his resume, considering he only has experience at either the second or third, or really not even the second. He really only has experience at the, it looks like the third Bundesliga or three Liga, whatever it's called, and then the Polish league. So 2.75 million feels like a lot of money, but as we just talked about, well, I guess the transfer fee does count towards like what designation they are. And I think you said he's U22 initiative.
Yeah, he's a U22 signing.
Okay. So that would, I think, make it their, that would be their third U22, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
At least according to that nice profile thing they put together. Ibrahim Aliyu and Nelson Quinones are in that
Well,
spot. I know for this year, I think Quinones might not be taking up that spot. He's got the asterisk next to him saying that he's currently unavailable.
he's injured.
But yeah, I don't know. It feels like a big fee and a big tag to put on a player that has not a lot of experience, even if it is in a position of need for their in their case.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going off of as well. You know, they're looking to revamp their attacking crew. Great. Ponce came in as well, playing as a new number 9. Um, Aliu's having a career year. Sebastian Ferreira's up there. Gabe Segal, Latif Blessing, and Amine Basse behind him. It, you know, it feels like a lot of money for somebody who I think is not going to be an instant impact guy right now. I would look to see him grow into a role over the next few months, maybe even into next year. But for 2.75 mil, I think there are better options just based off of structure. Now, Benny Ball, we never doubt Benny Ball. Like this could be the next goalkeeper of the year for all we know. Like it'll be something crazy. But again, I don't quite know what he projects out to be, right? At 21 years old, 22 years old, you've got an idea, but this guy might project out and be a wing back if he's going to look at 3-3-5-2 or whatever, right? Again, I'm not saying that's what he's doing, but you've got Ponce, you've got Ferreira. Now you're looking to build things out on the left wing, and maybe he's looking to turn that. I don't know, but I agree with you. I think the price feels a little steep, and our Houston friends can tell us that we're insane.
I'm sure they will.
Yep, I sure hope they do. Another really good signing, at least in my opinion, and for a team that I don't like giving credit to, is Awaziem, a big center back into FCC for only 500K. Big signing, desperately in need of center back reinforcement. Miazga and Haglund went down. Miles out at the Olympics. They played Yedlin as a center back as their like next best guy. Uh, they needed a proper center back, and here comes Awaziem, who has tons of experience in Portugal, Croatia, Spain, France, Turkey. Part of Porto's Super Cup win in 2019 and Hajduk Split's Croatian Cup win last year. 250 games, 21,000 minutes of experience. I mean, correct me if you think different, or don't correct me, but tell me if you think you're differently. But this dude feels like he's going to come in and just be an instant contributor, help Cincinnati push for the Supporters Shield. I mean, if you're looking at a back three once you get Miles and Miazga back, I mean, goodness me, what an addition this guy might be.
I mean, that's why I brought out the scarf. I think this is they knocked this out of the park, like 100%. The fee, the experience he brings in, the position, like it just checked every box. This is another phenomenal get for FCC. That front office has been unbelievably crushing it over the last few years. He, like you said, with the injuries, with Haglund and Miazga out, this is an awesome opportunity to bring him in, slide him in with Miles Robinson. If you want to go two at the back with those two back there, that's an incredible center back partnership, in my opinion. If you want to go three, then obviously, bringing him in is super important considering the lack of depth they have at center back right now. But when everybody gets healthy again, we're running back to this trio in the back line of Robinson, Awaziem, and Miazga. That's crazy. That's going to be probably best defensive team in the league. So they absolutely knocked it out of the park with this one. It was a great get for them.
Yeah, absolutely love it. Like I said, they needed this, and from what it sounds like, is this wasn't like panic buy, like, oh, we need a center back, let's go get him. Like they've been planning this for a while, and it's a great pull, right? The experience, the build. You put guys like Miazga and Robinson around him who are better in open space and can close things down, or you put him on the outside of the back three. Like there's a lot of different ways you can run that. And again, he's got experience all over the shop, tons of minutes and games at high levels that I think he can definitely be a really good piece for them now. This isn't like a signing like Inali where it's like, okay, maybe give him 8 to 18 months and we'll see what he can do. No, I think this guy comes in and just once he gets comfortable with the players around him, just comes straight in, plays. BJ Callahan in Nashville is getting his first reinforcement of his tenure. 22-year-old Australian Patrick Yazbek joining from Norway's Viking. He's a true number 8 according to Transfer Market, but he does seem to be a little bit more attacking minded. Gets into good spaces going forward. Another player on a very interesting trend that we noticed recently, where MLS is working very closely in the Australian realm. I think this is like the 4th or 5th Australian player or player from the Australian League this window alone. So interested to see if that trend continues on. But he finished with 2023 with 2 goals, 5 assists, 1,700 minutes, and 1 assist so far in 2024 in just about 800 or so minutes. Comes in as a U22 player. Your thoughts?
It feels very much like an Anali type signing again, where I feel like there's not a ton of experience yet, and it's in leagues that are not the strongest. I'm not claiming MLS is going to be, this magically strong league. We only can get top 5 league players, but I mean, he's got 1,600 minutes in the A League, and then he's got 2,500 minutes in the Norwegian League, and I feel like 2.5 million is a steep price, and the U22 initiative tag for someone who's played only the roughly around those minutes so far in his career. Whereas, like you said, I feel like you can spend 2.5 million and go bring in somebody who might be more win now oriented, more be able to have more of an instant impact. Kind of like FCC did. They brought in Owazium, he was only 500K. So to spend 2.5 million, I think you could probably find someone with a bit more experience in the midfield. I do agree. I think bringing in a number 8 is a good idea for them. Their midfield is filled with people that I think suit the 6 role better than an 8. So I think it's a good idea. I just don't know about how much this is going to help in this particular season. Maybe this is more so down the line, like you were saying for Inali.
No, yeah, the 2.5 mil for somebody who's trying to break into a midfield of Sejic, Godoy, Yearwood, Davis, Anunga. He is a little bit more attacking, but that means you got to find a place for Hani Mukhtar. He probably is going to fill that attacking role, I think. Much needed for this side, right? They're second lowest in XG in the East and consequently second lowest in goals scored. They need creativity and probably a little bit of luck to get in the playoffs, and maybe it comes from Yazbek, but maybe I'd be proven wrong. But I think he's a start. I think he's a starting piece, but I think there's still more for this team to do to kind of fix the problems, and that stems really from the idea that Hani's just underperforming. So maybe he just needs to some load taken off, change a role. I don't know, but yeah, definitely needs a little bit of work.
What I will say though, and I will tip my hat to Nashville for them finally bringing in an international player. I'm very proud of you for not bringing in another domestic player and selling off more international slots.
Yeah, it's about time, right? It's about time that they went and looked outside of the greater Nashville area. Another player who came outside of the United States, and one of my favorite moves so far after watching him play in Leagues Cup this week. DC United bringing in Austrian left back David Schnegg from Sturm Graz for 1.85 mil. He is 25 years old, big part of a team that broke the RB Salzburg Austrian dominance last year. Granted, the person who really broke that dominance was Gerhard Struber, but I mean, Red Bull makes the world takes, but it's not always that good. It's whatever. They won the League Cup double in 2024, and he had a goal and 4 assists in 21 minutes. Again, Europa League, Conference League experience as well. But watching him play against Atlanta yesterday, I thought he brought a ton to this group. He's very attacking minded, got involved a lot, has really good left footed service, which is massive when you have somebody like Christian Benteke waiting for the ball in the box. I think he's going to be a really good addition to the side. He's got a good mindset about him on how he wants to play the game, and I think it fits well with Troy Lessane's system. And they played Pedro Santos there, and while he was pretty good in 2019 as a top left back, it's been a little bit of time since. Now I may be wrong on how much he's played there, just because of who scored and how they have things set up, but that seems to be the guy they went with based off of that information. So please tell me if I'm wrong there, but definitely an upgrade was needed, whether that was the case or not. So I really like that move for a team that I really don't like.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with you there. I think having Pedro Santos, as you said, if that is the case, as the left back option was great probably a few years ago. I don't know if that's the route you want to run with nowadays. I think he's a good option if you needed to change things up late in a game or if you needed to like rotate for a certain game or whatnot. But your week in, week out starter at the left wing back spot, I don't know if I love that. So I think it's great that they brought in Schnegg, who's gonna like you said, he's going to bring the attack. So you're not necessarily losing this attack, bringing somebody else in that Pedro Santos could bring to the table. But now you're going to get someone who you could feel more comfortable with in defense as well, because quite frankly, DC needs help in the defense. They have 50 goals conceded, the most in the East. So hopefully this is a step in that direction. I think there's obviously more work to be done than just the left wing back spot in order to fix the defense, but it's a good step in the right direction. I like his experience so far, as you said, being a big part of the team that was able to win the Austrian Bundesliga, which is a very solid league. That's great experience to bring in, and hopefully he can. Well, maybe not hopefully, but I think he'll have an impact on this DC team for sure in both directions, attacking and defensively.
Yeah, 100%.